jokes, yeah, you're insightful, but are you likable? You got jokes, you're the host, stand up. Are you likable?
Cool. Hello and welcome to Likable, a show where we discuss stand-up comedy from an entry-level perspective. I'm your host, David Stickle, and today I'm joined by Mr. Joseph Anthony Davis.
Hello. Hi, likable audience.
Howdy, buddy.
Hope you like me.
Yeah, I think they will. Jolly Joe.
That's one of my many names.
Yes, Mad Jad. yeah. How many? We love the characters. They're very fun. How many do you have?
I know. I get this question a lot. People will message my partner, Serena, and be like, how many Instagrams does Joe have? Because it's getting out of control. I have multiple characters. I've been doing improv since 2020. Good place to start. So I started acting and playing different characters. And right in the middle of COVID, we were like, let's get outside and get people together and start acting.
Heck yeah.
So that's where I really started taking on all these different personas and loved character acting. But for stand-up, I really am Mad Jad is my comedic persona. He is the new pissed off guy in town, the new sheriff in town. He's kind of a piece of work and he's very unhappy with the world. Mm-hmm. And then you got Jolly Joe Jester, on the other hand, who's a cosmic clown-like man who's a host with full energy and unconditional love for everybody. And those are two sides of me, or kind of the yin and yang.
Okay, that's cool. Life's about balance, right? I mean, yeah.
You gotta be balanced. You gotta have, these days, one personality's not enough to get all your feelings out.
Fair enough. I wish there's a few people I know that I wish would adapt that.
Right. I mean, and there's seriously psychological stuff. I've been hearing about like internal family systems. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of that? People will be like, oh, my inner father and my inner child and inner personalities within. So that's kind of, I'm doing that, but as a stand-up. So it's a lot of fun and, gives me a chance to write from a new perspective.
Yeah.
Like a Rodney Dangerfield kind of, hey, can't get no respect around here.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with this world,
Oh yeah. Do you feel like when you go to write and you're trying to approach it from a different angle, like it does drastically change your perspective on what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I'm finding that thinking about comedy from this Mad Jad perspective, because you know me, I've been around the scene for a couple of years, but when I started, I was signing up Jolly Joe Jester, and that's sort of my musician name, and there's a lot under that umbrella, but certain topics just felt like way out of left field for that character, who's almost a little more wholesome and clean. So now I'm finding a new freedom with Mad Jad to say, let me blow the roof off this place and show these feelings that are not normally shown.
Okay, interesting.
As an actor, I've been called to play mafioso types and big scary guys and military guys and stuff that's really out of character. But I find that I can find that in me. And thinking like that, I think, connects to a new audience and is a little more of like where the times are at these days.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Well, so I mean, you wear many hats, right?
Yes,
yes, you do. Nice hat too. I'm curious, what came first? Like baseline, Joseph Anthony Davis. Like, was it acting, improv, comedy? Like, what was like your first like exposure to like, I guess like just as a blanket like entertainment, and then what road did you go down first?
That's great. So I think the real origin story was as a kid, even before anything, me and my friends would get together. We would even make wrestling videos.
Love that. Like WWF? Like
wrestling. We made our own acronym, JWE, Joe's Wrestling Entertainment.
Okay, great.
And, we built a little trampoline ring and really early on started that. And there's, an experience there playing a heel, playing a bad guy, playing a good guy. But I was into that as a kid.
Did you have a favorite character on television?
Yeah, I think so. I loved the really obscure wrestlers. Like there's this guy who was very egomaniac. The microphone would come down and he would introduce himself, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah. I remember Mr. Kennedy.
That guy
Yeah.
was funny. I loved his ego. I loved his character, the boogeyman, like these wild characters. But my favorite, and I actually met gentleman, is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Heck yeah. When did you
Yeah.
meet Stone Cold?
I was going to California with my family as a kid. I was probably 10 years old, playing with toys in the airport, literally like a Stone Cold action figure in my bag. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, my brother says, I think some wrestler, just famous guy, he didn't even know who it was, drove by on a golf cart. So I grab my stuff. I start running.
You didn't even know who it was?
We're in Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I'm like, I don't even know, but I hear famous wrestler. Mm-hmm. I run, and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I say to him, he gets off at his gate, and he sees this kid who chased him, and he had just finished WrestleMania, like shaving Vince McMahon's head. And I was like, I'm such a big fan. He had a movie coming out. I want to go see your movie. You're probably too young for that. Mm-hmm. And I told him, hey, I had used to do your thing like you did with the beers with Dr. Pepper with my friends and pour it all over. Good thing it was Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Don't stay away from drugs and alcohol. Yeah. And he couldn't have been nicer, and I got a photo with him
that's really cool.
Send you. Yeah. It was a special moment meeting one of my first heroes there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so wrestling was one way in, and then I started getting into theater a little bit in high school, and in community college, I actually worked with the Rockwell Museum in Corning, New York, and was the first ever intern as a theater person with the museum. So it was a theater class and the museum, and together we created a couple of theater pieces, and I even did one based on Andy Warhol.
Cool.
And this hat's actually perfect because I played John Wayne, Marion Morrison as his birth name. But I did a John Wayne Cowboys and Indians piece. It was what it was called, and based on these awesome pictures that he had. And I started as kind of a director and a writer, and always thought I would direct movies as a kid, and looked up to guys like Martin Scorsese and Coppola and Tarantino and all the great comedic movie makers, Charlie Chaplin. Mm-hmm. Always just grew up thinking I want to make movies. Yeah. So that was my next entry point, and brought me to SUNY New Paltz doing digital media production.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Are you from the Hudson Valley? Or
not originally? Finger Lakes, actually, in Elmira, New York.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, home of Mark Twain, or resting place of Twain.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so then you got into New Paltz, and you wanted to get into movies.
Yeah, started being in everyone's films. Everyone would say, we need somebody, and I said, please, let me. I'm your guy. I love acting. I did theater and stuff, but never was a real theater kid. Never took a lot of acting class. But then I got to be on set in everybody's movies, and loved that experience.
Yeah, that's cool.
Loved being on set. And then I got into some movies in the Hudson Valley. The first day of my New Paltz career, I was brought onto a movie set and was an extra, and ended up driving someone home the next day because I begged to be a production assistant. Let me work for free. I need the experience. And on my first week of college, I skipped class to go be on a TV show, and made really good friends with the woman I ended up driving. And we made a movie together. Layla Koshnudi in The City. She's an amazing actress, and we're still editing what we shot way back in 2019. It's a TV show called Closure.
Okay,
so
very cool.
Just started falling into place, and then I was in a movie with Bill Murray.
That's cool.
The Dead Don't Die.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Got to be a zombie.
Yeah. You told the story at Night Swim about this, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe you laid on him or something like that.
The first thing we do, they say, everybody, we're going to jump on Bill Murray and Adam Driver. All the zombies are climbing on top of him and touching him. And it's like, this is the first thing we're doing from an overhead shot. But I made a big mistake, actually, because, as the first take go and they say, action, my improv instinct was to go like this. I tried to be a leader.
Oh, okay.
Cut! You guys are brain dead. Remember, there's zombies, no gestures.
Yeah.
So I broke the rules right off the bat. And then after we finally got it and all the zombies climb off, I'll never forget Adam Driver said, "Is it weird that made me aroused?" Having a bunch of zombies climb on over him.
That's a new thing for him now.
He was great. He was totally in the zone.
Yeah.
On set. And Bill Murray was super nice and got my Screen Actors Guild card doing that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I've been in tons of different movies around here, and that was always part of it. And then I started comedy officially at Cafeteria Coffee Shop in New Paltz.
Okay.
So we have an open mic, but what if we did a spoken word night, and I'll host it. We'll do comedy. And in 2019, I think March, we had our first one. And that really started introducing me to other comics and kind of getting to know the scene, the community, and it was really special. I met a lot of cool people, including the late Anthony
Quinn.
He came by,
Very cool.
had a big inspiration on me. Yeah,
Oh, I never got to meet him.
yeah, he was special, and there was a guy Patty. Who was really cool and brought me into a lot of, and he does a show now, News from Bed.
Okay, that's fun.
He's funny. He moved down to the city, but these guys started saying, "Hey, you've got, you're not quite a regular comic, but you have a great energy. How about you host this show?" So I started hosting and being experimental, and every set of mine is always different. So I'm not one of those guys who says, "This is my type 5 and I'm sticking to it." I'm always saying, "All right, what else? And that's how it really got started.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So where did improv fit into that? Because you organize or you lead happenstancery,
True.
right?
Yes, we
So
started that.
when did you start that, and what when did you want to when did you think of that?
Yeah, it was when we were all in the middle of COVID, right before COVID, I was teaching kids to be in a drama class. We were putting on an after-school play. It's me and 62 kids. Terrible. I don't recommend it. However, I loved it and had a lot of fun. And guess what? Our show date was going to be March 13th, 2020.
Okay. Rough.
Yeah, I had to tell the kids to their tears, we're not going to be able to put on a show, but we will do one dress rehearsal and film it. So we got to do one version of it. The world shut down, and a couple months later, I found out that my mom was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a big shift that it was like, okay, this is now taking over, and then it got progressively worse in those next couple of months. But my family all got to come together and be around her, and it was actually a kind of a nice benefit of COVID was that we were all able to be together and the world shut down, and send her off into the horizon. And on May 24th, 2020, she passed away.
Wow.
It was Bob Dylan's birthday. It was very important to me. And the next day, George Floyd was murdered.
Wow.
So it was like,
Heavy
whoa,
times.
Whoa, yeah, May 25th, the next, and I somehow realized, whoa, I had a couple months to prepare for my mom's death. This guy, he just was murdered, and no one knew it was coming. It was unexpected. His life, he was taken. So that, I just felt very like, whoa, the whole world is now grieving, and that changed. So that was heavy times. I'm going to protests with my friends in Elmira, showing my support for that scene. And feeling like, wow, the world's heavy right now. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? So one night, one of my roommates, Tony Hamilton, who's also a writer of my short film, which we'll get into, he pulls out this old book called Impro.
Okay.
And it's an old book that's gone around, and in it there's some exercises of what you can do, and one of them is going around one word at a time, stories or sentences. And we started doing this, a couple of roommates in a circle, and let's get faster, let's keep going. And I remember, whoa, this is improv, which I hadn't done since I was in summer camp as a kid, and that changed my life. And I said, this is what I should be doing. It's fun, it's taken my mind off of it, and there's something about it that is totally connecting the four of us together,
Yeah.
becoming one. And so I said, let's start a class. Let's say Thursday nights, who can come to our college cul-de-sac and come hang out and be a part of Happenstancery. And we've been going for 6 years ever since.
That's
This
awesome,
July.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fan. I mean, I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad. And that's still, you said you had a couple months. That's still quite sudden, you know? That's
Yeah, I think we found out she was sick in November, and then it was May. So it was tough, and she was young, you know, only I think 61.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sorry. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's a sign. Don't smoke. If you're smoking and listening, put that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told her that. I would tell her this Allen Ginsberg song called "The Put Down Your Cigarette Rag."
Okay.
And if you're trying to quit, I recommend this. Don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. It's a $9 billion capitalist joke. He goes on for a while chanting that. But, you know, she was like a spiritual guide for me and really raised me to believe all people are beautiful. And everybody, that could be Jesus, David Stickle. He's got little Jesus in him, and the Holy Spirit is in everything. So that is my motivation to this day, and I have so much to thank for her. You know, as she's passed, I'm able to see the blessings and how lucky I was to have her as a mom.
Yeah. Did you grow up in a really religious household, or?
She was very spiritual. I grew up going to church. I was an
Okay.
altar boy.
Cool.
And, you know, I did have that. And she was also very spiritual, which I've realized that organized religions can sometimes be very strict and say, you know, don't be into this, don't be into that. But she she was very intuitive and psychic and spiritual. And so I had that. And as I grew older, I started saying, you know, do I believe in God, or what do I think? I eventually said, I don't know if I want to go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm enough tired from the school, so I don't think I'm going to do that. But as I grew up and had conversations with her, I realized in college when I took a philosophy of religion class, I think I'm the only one who's not an atheist in this room.
Okay. Yeah. Especially at New Paltz. Yeah.
Yeah, this was like I was finding a lot of these philosophers, you know, have every reason to say, oh, science, and what about this, and the Holocaust, and why would God allow this? And I've always realized I was raising my hand to be literally devil's advocate and say, wait a minute, maybe this is more that meets the eye. Maybe there's things science can't explain, that there's a deep force underneath all of this. And whether you call it God or Yahweh or the universe, there's something deep down that I do believe in. And to this day, I think I realize that's a lot of my mom's impact on me.
That's great.
Yeah, I think everybody should try to be a little more connected to the whole. That's really what it means.
Yeah.
Christ
100%.
is like unity, you know? So I think we're all one, and you and I are just different cells of the same body here.
Yeah, I definitely believe in some kind of like karmic connection, and just, you know, everybody kind of being in this field, like, you know. So I mean, I totally agree with it. What we label it, you know,
Yeah.
that's up to interpretation, I think. But yeah, that's like that's interesting. I mean, you know, it's you know, we don't really talk about faith a lot on the show, but
Yeah.
but you know, it's like you know, for first time listeners, that's not what we normally talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just think it's an interesting thing because, like, you know, it's not necessarily something would assume about you, you know, and you know, it's a cool thing to learn, you know.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I always have been, you know, admirer of other faiths too. Like I took a class on Islam in college too, and actually was absolved of taking the midterm because I did a video project that was really interesting. And this was in Corning Community College. I was there first. But I would interview kids around campus and say, what questions do you have for Muslims, about being a Muslim? What's your questions? And then I brought a montage of all of those questions to the Islamic Society of the Finger Lakes and had them actually answer these questions.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really powerful. It was like just amazing to hear the kinds of crazy things people assume.
Of course.
Yeah. Islamophobia and how the world, especially after 9/11, has, taken that. And then to just try to actually say, let's look at this. Let's see what it is. And they were so glad I was making this to try to just say, hey, we're not all that different. Let's get to know each other. And I believe the same thing is true with Judaism and Hinduism and all of these, Buddhism. There's something to learn from all of it. And comedy, I think, can be a unifier of every concept. We can kind of celebrate them all.
I agree. Yeah, that's a good way to think about that. So we were acting, and then we started improv, and now we're writing, and we're creating a show. We got a movie we're working on.
Yeah. The amazing thing happened in 2020. Living in that great house with Tony Hamilton and another great performer, Frankie Panic, and I had this like college house after I graduated New Paltz. I'm living with musicians where we recorded a song actually called Vicky Sue, and my mom got to hear it before she passed. So we're making music, we're collaborating, and then Tony and I collaborated on theater. We made an adaptation of Cuckoo's Nest and put it on, and we also made a short film idea called Through the Brush. And Norm Magnuson, who's a king around here in Rhinecliff, he was the lead of this, where a guy actually plays two different characters, very much like me with Jolly Joe and Mad Jad.
I watched this.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think of that?
I thought it was cool. Yeah.
It's available on YouTube for anyone to check out now. It went around the festival world, but yeah, it's all about how we differ and how we look at someone else on the other side of the creek and wonder what's their life like and how different am I from them. So it's a lot of like what we're talking about. And that took a couple of years of shooting. And just like as you see, the film crosses all 4 seasons of weather. So it's a whole Hudson Valley journey from spring and summer and fall and the thick of winter. The first thing we shot was crossing a frozen creek with Norm and me and the camera.
Oh, you shot that first?
Yeah,
Okay.
we shot that first, and that was very intense.
It's like I'm I've had a couple people that make movies on now, but like, is the editing process like super long? Like, do you do it like as a team, or is it more like solo project kind of stuff?
Yeah, the editing can be hard. So many people. It's kind of true with stand-up too. It's like you can be a perfectionist. You can want it to just be perfect, and sometimes it's never done. And with video editing, there's always the final cut, and then the final 3, final.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's please kill me, Lord. MP4.
Yeah.
And so this one I actually finished up with the writer himself, Anthony Hamilton. He actually came up with the name Happenstancery. We all voted on it and gave that suggestion the win. I sat with him, and he's a very poetic writer, and I've collaborated with him to try to like come up with the story, and he put it into script format.
Cool.
Our strengths. And then I also went back to him and said, listen, I got to finish this thing. Can I come up? And we went over to his parents' house, and they set me up in some room with a desk. And I just was like, we're going to get this down to under 20 minutes. And then we kept cutting it down. It just felt a little long. And I trusted the writer to say, let's find out where it is. And we got it down to about 17 minutes on the dot.
Wow.
So that was when I was like, all right, I'm ready to put this out into the world.
Yeah. How did you find Norm?
Norm and I first met on the zombie movie. He was actually Bill Murray's double.
Really?
Yeah, he had a shaved face.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Bill Murray's not that tall.
Yeah, Norm and him were perfect for each other, and he
Yeah.
would wear the same outfits, and he shaved his face. And he's actually done lectures on this whole topic because he was dealing with back pain and popping pills to stay healthy. So I think you can hear Norm talk about that on my podcast, Joe's Java Jive, too.
Check it out.
He was I think the second guest or something, Norm. So yeah, I loved meeting him, and then I brought him in on the Cuckoo's Nest project. He was Harding, it was kind of Nurse Ratchet's teacher's pet. And then we worked on a movie called Silent Retreat, which never has come out yet. It's on a shelf somewhere, but we really got to know each other through all that. And then I asked him to originally just play one of the parts, and then I realized, you know what if he played both parts and we had him shave into the goatee instead of the big beard and put on the glasses. And he's such a great actor to work with. Norm's a filmmaker's dream.
Yeah.
So he was so fun to work with, and we directed that, and it won some awards and went around the circuit. And now I've used that to help and direct a TV show pilot that's a comedy, actually, called Pressure Points.
Pressure Points. Cool.
So fun.
What's
yeah.
that about?
That's about a guy who is a surgeon turned massage therapist. He's like sick of this working and having people's lives in my hand. So I'm going to try to do something else with healing, and he ends up hating this job even more. It's so crazy where he works at a salon / massage therapy place.
Is it an above board salon, or is it
it is, but it he's very above board, but some of the clientele can be a little wild, and there's even in the pilot, there's some very shocking things that happen. And I'm his best friend in the pilot, as well as the co-director. I play Fitzy, who's like, dude, this is the best opportunity of your life. Don't screw this up. And we're working on shooting the next couple of episodes this summer, actually. So that's been a huge fun thing. And, using Through the Brush. And they were really drawn to me by my improv experience, because they wanted to shoot a lot of that on set and say, let's make this better in person. So I helped facilitate that kind of creative environment on set, and is a dream come true to make a movie with someone else's budget and camera and team, and I was the guy calling action. So that's been a really wonderful thing.
That's cool. So this pilot, if you're the best friend in this, who's the lead?
The lead is Vinny Velez, and his name is Rigo, and Vinny is very involved in all of this. His Instagram is The Seeker of Magic. He's a really cool guy, and works a lot on independent films, and was actually a massage therapist.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
His stories ended up being amplified into the script.
That's cool. So the research had to be done on the surgery part, right? Or is it just kind of like we're going to touch it and then move on?
Yeah, the surgery is kind of like the post story, and we have our first the film open in the surgery room is where it starts. But he really has the massage experience and the stories, and he told a good friend and the co-writer, and they made it happen. This
cool.
Really cool, fun pilot. So we're hoping it's going to get picked up somewhere, and one day I'll be making more episodes for Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. I mean, proof of concept seems to be like the most important thing now. I don't from what I understand, like I'm not an expert in like TV stuff, but like. From what I understand, they used to like green light you, and then the network would give you the money right away, and then you do something. But now it just seems like nothing gets made unless you have something shot already to just show them. There's no like pitching phase anymore. It just seems to be like, this is what it is, and what do you think? And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. In life, you have to prove that you can do it. The proof is in the pudding. And when they can see it and say, oh, this is funny, or this is unique, I think that's when people say, all right, yeah, you're ready. And it's true in stand-up, too. You kind of have to prove yourself, or have a couple clips out there, or get in front of people. You can't just say, hey, I've never done this. You never seen me do it. Can I do it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely required. So we're working on this show. Like, what else do we have going on? Like, what is like I see you around a lot, what's like life like for you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I realize how little I know about you, man. And,
It's-
that's kind of crazy.
It's true. I've heard that before. You were at my birthday roast, and one of my friends, Kai, really got me and said, "Joe, you're my best. Everybody's best friend as soon as they know you, and then they don't know anything about your personal life." After that. I will tell you that my life has been so packed and busy. I've been engaged to Serena for several years. We're planning this epic wedding.
Cool.
And we live together in Rosendale, and just have a nice life growing up around the Hudson Valley. Has been like a home away from home for me. The people, the community. I'm always trying to bring people together. So I even started a thing recently that I'm hoping you'll come by to, the Kingston Comedy Collective.
Yes, I would actually. Yeah, we should talk about that too.
Yeah, it's trying to get comedians to support each other and say, hey, let's meet up and grab a bite and hear, what are your challenges? What are you going through? What do you need? When are your shows? And how can we sort of support each other? And so that's kind of my big purpose in life, is how can I be a community builder? And one other thing I'm involved in is the New Paltz Public Access Station.
Cool.
Which I'm really happy to report this week is getting upgraded to HD.
Very cool.
I helped bring that back to life for the last few years. As you know, public access can be, it's kind of a thing of the past. What is this, Wayne's World? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
But look at this incredible room. If only you could see, this is kind of like what we have in New Paltz, a little closet that we're going to be making a TV show, a TV channel. So New Paltz is going to be, Likable could even be on syndication. We could give you a show.
I'm working with the new producer of The Panda, which is Rhinebeck's local public access, and she does Red Hook as well.
Is that Suzanne?
Suzanne,
Yeah,
yes.
yes.
Yeah. So Suzanne asked if we could share Likable on there, and I think everything's green lit. It's just a matter of like, I think, this is interesting. I didn't know this, but maybe it's just her department, but like gigabytes. The file has to be like less than 5, I think, which is for an hour-long episode, that's very tough. But maybe it'll be like 2-parters or something like that.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think there's some ways around that. But imagine that your Likable show is now, people can tune in to Channel 23, and maybe on both sides of the river, they can watch your show, get a slot.
I would love that. Yeah, I mean, doing this show, I think it's like, the cool thing is been able to showcase like different comedians in the Hudson Valley and New York and Tennessee and like all that kind of stuff, but mostly Hudson Valley and, people like yourself, and it's just like, these are our neighbors that have a passion about like doing stand-up or something, related to entertainment. And it's like, yeah, these people are amongst us. Like, let's hear about them, let's talk about them. And I think that's kind of what the show's been since, I really, I kind of let the guest dictate the episode,
That's awesome. Yeah. It's a special thing that you do, and I'm a big fan of the show, and
thanks,
I love
man.
getting to know other comedians through your conversations. And I think that this long form kind of conversation for our age is rare. You do it with your close friends, you do it with family, but to get together and say, let's sit down and talk for an hour, that's rare in itself.
Yeah.
And people can watch and experience it with us, which is really fun. I think it makes them want to have more conversations too.
I hope so.
You better, people. Come on. Go out there and have a conversation after this.
Be better, people.
You can do it.
Had it with this shit.
Dolly Joe wants you to go out and nod at every neighbor. And that's one of my other big messages, is the world can be changed with head nods. You see someone on the street, a little perfect with this hat.
Yeah, it actually
Howdy.
is kind of perfect with the hat.
You got it? If we start doing that, you can make the world a better place. We can save the world.
I think so. I mean, it's just like a little bit more, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, the world has gotten extra dark lately, and I would say that I've kind of noticed that just in interacting with so many people, it feels as though people are being more gentle with each other, because I think everybody kind of is going through the same thing in the back of their head, like we might be having this conversation, but in the back of our heads we know what else is going on,
Yeah.
and that's heavy. So I think everybody's just trying to be a little nicer to each other, at least how I'm perceiving it.
It's so true, because if we are a little kinder to our neighbors and we spread that, whether it's a head nod or hey, how are you, and you need help with your bags, or little deeds, we create an in-person physical reality that is much better than what the collective idea of what's going on in the world is, which is everything's burning.
Yeah.
It's all going to fall apart. There's
Yeah.
wars. But if in our little bubble,
Doesn't exist. Like everything that's on here doesn't actually exist, and
our
that's
phones are the devil. I when I was younger, I threw my phone in the river.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very, very powerful experience, and I had a great manic episode after that led to who I am now. I was due for an upgrade anyway. Let's be real.
It was an Android.
Yeah, switched to iPhone.
Yeah, gotta get those blue messages.
Yeah.
Anyway, necessary.
It's an important thing, though. I'm a big believer that you can create your own reality, and by being kind, by doing good things, we can make it better. And then also we can shine a light on the darkness, and move through it. And comedians especially, and Mad Jad, this is why he was birthed, is I want to talk about the dark stuff. I want to look at the elephant in the room and say, what the hell is this doing here? And sometimes that shines a light. We move through it, just like grief or sadness.
Yeah.
How can we collectively talk about this heavy stuff and grow from it,
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I find out like with my writing, like everything I do is kind of more personal, So a lot of my like writing, especially lately, has been just like stuff I'm like really uncomfortable with, and I'm working on stuff right now that I'm scared to say out loud, and that's
good.
Yeah, and that's been like heavy, but like I'm working towards saying that out loud, writing it still, which is fun, but
Great.
But yeah, I mean, even just getting out there and trying to make light of tough stuff, or just just touch negative tones and bring it back to light. I think it's pretty fun. I mean, like
alchemy, kind of.
Yeah.
Turning it into something we can laugh at, or so that the next time you hear about war or you hear about something terrible, you think about this bit that someone did.
Yeah. And that doesn't take away from how serious it is, but like also it's just, you don't need to be carrying 100% of the, it's like kind of how our brains, like, if we were sat with all of our senses at all times, like you would hear like the ringing in your ears, you would hear X, Y, and Z, you would smell everything, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like your brain picks and chooses what it needs just so it can get by and survive,
So true.
Like the aches in your body even,
Yeah.
like it'll narrow it down to like what's actually aching you.
You gotta compartmentalize it and find it. And I find that if we go through and talk about it together, we just by being happy and making people happy, that's kind of an act of revolution, joy, and kindness.
Yeah, yeah. Because it does feel like the powers that be are just trying to excite us into anger, and by like laughing about shit. It does kind of. You're right. It does kind of feel like rebellion a little bit.
Right, and the whole force of negative darkness in the world wants you to just lock your doors, not talk to anybody, order DoorDash, and just buy a gun. And
Yeah.
And then there's this other force that goes back to before everything, when we were just primal, that I think wants us to, like my movie, get together by a bonfire and invite the community out and have some clown put on a mask and entertain everybody. And I think you and I as comedians have a little of that in us to say, let's bring everybody together. Let's have a party. It's okay. We're going to be okay. And the world needs that more than ever.
I think so. Put the phone down. Go and get entertained by somebody who's trying to make you laugh.
Right.
We're collectively getting together to emote laughter. Like that's cool. Yeah.
And just to even tune into someone's frequency and say, oh, let's see what's going on this channel and this human. What do they have to say, and where are they at, and what's their perspective? And then, you know, it just is such a freeing thing. It's better than going to the movies. It's better than going, you know, watching a show on Netflix. Go find your local comedians who are trying to change the world, trying to make a connection with you. There's nothing better than that. And as a fan growing up of comedy, I always said, I need to learn how to do this. I need to. And I think right now I'm finally feeling like, you know what? You're starting to feel like you've paid your dues. You're on the Likable podcast. You got a couple I got a months of dates coming up. You're a comedian. You're doing it.
Yeah.
And there's a light bulb going off. It feels really good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. I love that. What you know, comedy fan, like who was like one of your favorite comedians growing up, or who like inspires you?
Well, growing up, I was a young kid, and we had this SNL VHS tape of when Chris Farley died. They showed the best of.
Okay.
So for SNL this week, all of Chris Farley's greatest sketches. And I must have rewound and played that 100 times. And he was one of my early inspirations, because I was like, I love this guy. And I think as a kid, I knew I was somehow going to be a bigger man. I was always a little stronger and bigger. And I said, this guy has got such energy. He's coming out. He's breaking, you know, he's just, and I learned, wow, he did this through improv at first. And, you know, went on to Second City and found his way in Chicago and then to New York for Saturday Night Live. But I loved him so much and really was inspired by Farley. And then on the more obscure side, I discovered an early age Andy Kaufman.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, so he's to me the godfather of absurdist comedy and experimental kind of anti-comedy, like guys like Eric Andre now.
Yeah.
And clowning in a way, you know, he's someone who I was like, oh, he's so fun, he's breaking all the rules. And he's kind of more coming at it from an acting approach. So I knew from an early age I was gonna emulate him.
That's cool.
And I'm lucky to say I actually got to play him recently in an Albany Ghosts of Comedians Past competition.
I saw the flyer for this. Yeah, that's very cool.
Fun. Yeah.
Did you do certain bits or?
Yeah, I really focused on, you know, I came out and did Mighty Mouse, which is his classic bit that he did on SNL. Just put on a record and waited for his part to lip sync.
Yeah. Here I come to save the day. Yeah.
And then I did a little foreign man and got upset at the audience.
Okay.
Realized I don't think you guys are really appreciating me. And, you know, I'm just trying to make you laugh, and I'm trying to treat you like you're my friends. But you really showed me where I'm at tonight. Why'd you have to ruin everything? And he starts playing the drums mid-crying, and that I've wanted to do that since I first saw that clip as a kid. And I remember showing my mom, and they look at this fool, look at what he's doing, tricking the audience, and they thought he's really a comic breaking down, who's like got nothing, and he's really crying and losing his cool. And then he's like, no, this is all part of the act.
Yeah. What did you think of Man on the Moon?
I loved it so much. That movie, for those of you who say, who's Andy Kaufman? And I'm jealous of you if you're just hearing about him. Like a good show, like to look at that Wikipedia for the first time and learn that he took his audience out for milk and cookies after his Carnegie Hall show. There are buses outside. The whole audience can come for milk and cookies. Well, the Man on the Moon was directed by Milos Forman, who did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as well.
Okay.
And Jim Carrey is my other big inspiration. So, you know, they actually have the same birthday, Jim and Andy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
January 17th. And Jim was a big fan of Andy and actually bought his old bloodied up bongos for the movie.
Huh.
And then when he auditioned, he said, oh, I actually have the bongos. And Judd Apatow helped him film his audition. I love that movie, and I think it just really paints a picture. And The big Andy Kaufman thing that I replicate is the alter ego thing. Because he had Tony Clifton.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need this. I need this podcast like I need a shotgun blast to the face.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of you people. Show some respect.
And then they had who was the other actor in that movie?
Giamatti.
Giamatti. Yeah. And then they did the switcheroo.
Yeah, his good friend Bob Zamuda, who's still alive, and I would love to interview him someday. He was Andy's best friend, and yeah, they would both play this character, Tony Clifton, and Mad Jad owes a lot to Tony Clifton because Andy really laid down a blueprint for what to do. And then there's a recent documentary called Thank You Very Much, and I actually got to interview the director of that, Alex Braverman.
Okay,
So,
very cool.
check that out on Joe's Java Jive if you want to hear more Andy stories and what it was like to make a new documentary with never before seen footage of Andy.
Oh wow,
really well done.
Very cool. Yeah, they did a really good job with that movie. I remember actually the first time I saw that movie was with my dad. Like we don't, him and I don't watch a lot of movies together, but you know, I'd never been introduced to Andy Kaufman before, but we watched, and it was just, I was a kid. We had movie rentals to, like, it was called Movies to Go in Red Hook, New York, and I saw Jim Carrey on a movie, right? And I'm just thinking like, you know, Ace Ventura, or yeah, exactly. So like I grab it off the shelves and I'm watching it with my dad, and I think he kind of knew what it was about. But in the middle of it, they're like talking to Andy Kaufman about a role working for a taxi company. Yeah, and then my dad just goes, "Latka." Yeah. I'm like, what? You know, and then I was like, and then I watched it. I was like, oh wow, my dad knows who this is. It was like, it was cool. I didn't know it was like a piece on somebody who actually existed.
Yeah. Oh wow, you thought it was maybe fictional.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I just thought it was just a full movie. You know, on just all fictional characters.
Well, yeah, he was a big figure at the time. He was equivalent to like Kanye West now.
Yeah,
like he would
amazing.
Make the news and what's he up to now, and you never knew what to expect. And I've actually heard Kanye quote Andy in his David Letterman interview. Yeah, so I always thought that they were like, he was doing an Andy Kaufman kind of thing, and then when I heard that in the interview, I said, I knew it.
Yeah,
you know, he's playing us all, being as crazy as he can be. But I do have you mentioned Taxi, that also had the great Carol Kane in it. And I got to work with her and Jason Schwartzman on this movie, Between the Temples.
Yes. Yeah,
so
yeah.
That was shot in Kingston, and I was, playing a Jewish guy and sleeping in the synagogue. And they had me on, and Jason couldn't have been nicer. I told him how much I loved Wes Anderson films and Darjeeling Limited. Have you ever seen that? It's a great movie with Jason Schwartzman and Owen Wilson and Adrian Brody, three brothers going out to India.
Okay,
on a
very cool.
A spiritual train ride. But I told him how much of an impact, and he said, "Oh, can I give you a hug?" And got to hug Jason Schwartzman and give him a business card. But Carol Kane, I was surprised she came in at the very end of the day and was sitting in the back, and they wrapped all the extras at the end of the night. And I kind of feel like I have a little Andy Kaufman in me, and she worked with him. She played his girlfriend in the show. So I walk by her and bug out my eyes, and I say, "Thank you very much." And she goes, "Thank you very much." And that was a really special moment. I felt like I got to say hi to her through, and Andy came through me in that moment.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's fun.
Yeah. Did you go to I think they did some kind of premiere at Upstate Films in Rhinebeck.
Yeah, I did. I checked it out at, I think I checked it out at Upstate Films and had seen myself on screen and was shocked. I had kind of more of a featured role than I expected. And Robert Smigel was there, who I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
The Insult Comic Dog there. Great writer.
Amazing. Funny comedy writer. Yeah.
He's amazing.
Just amazing writer in general. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys, I feel very lucky to have crossed paths with guys like Jim Jarmusch on The Dead Don't Die and Jason Schwartzman. just to name drop a few, but it's amazing. And Steve Buscemi, came by. He was involved in the Woodstock Film Festival.
That's cool.
I loved meeting him, and my old teacher used to say I was like the Steve Buscemi of New Paltz.
Yeah,
everybody's film.
Yeah, that's funny.
So pretty honored. Yeah, it's amazing acting, and I think if more of us comedians got together and said, let's write stuff together. Let's shoot something this weekend. That's how we can really band together and make all boats rise when the high tide,
Yeah. I mean, Gabe Baldizzi has been working on a show, and a few of us acted in it,
I think I saw one with the court case.
Yeah. I played like a bailiff in it, I'm not a good actor, but no, it's cool. Like, I wish there was a stronger network for everybody to get together and make something, but I mean, there's also, it's just being in the group chat trying to get that going. It's tough to organize. Like, it's herding cats. It's tough to organize all that.
It is. It's why I'm here. Putting out the call, because I think I have a big instinct on that. Being a director and getting some stuff under my belt. I love being a part of that kind of stuff and love having multiple projects going on at once. And yeah, I was always that friend who was a little bit of an over organizer, like in high school. And I kind of I had a big group of guy friends, like in middle school. And every day we would run to the lunch table because we wanted to sit where we wanted to sit around the table. And I was like, guys, this is ridiculous. I'm going to draw up a seating chart. And we abided by it. It got a little weird, too. We would put a box around the one kid, or, all right, you're sitting in the box now. You're out of the main court.
You built in exclusion?
Yeah, we built in a little exclusion. And my friends still give me crap about it. I was a little shithead in high school. And yeah, but I was always the one getting everybody together. I wanted to throw a Project X level party.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, but I wasn't cool enough to do that.
Neither was I, dude. Neither was I.
I'm still chasing that, though. I think the Vicky Sue mantra that is in the song is, we're having a party and we love you. And I try to live by that. And coming to New Paltz, I finally got to experience that party feeling, because they have an underground music scene. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got involved with. Where I was living after and during COVID, they were hosting house shows before that. And what I loved about it too is that they worked with the other houses and said, well, let's make sure if you're doing a show on Friday, we'll do Saturday. Let's meet up and talk about it and make sure we're not stepping on toes. And so that's the energy I'm trying to bring to our comedy scene.
Yeah, that's cool. So is that the goal of the Kingston?
Yeah, it's to be something like that, where we say, all right, David, when's your show? All right, Gabe, when's your show? And Keith Prince, Corner Store Comedy, what are you doing? And how can we all support the scene and say, oh, I need to fill some dates? And Matty has also got us on a group chat. We have to support each other, because in the perfect world, comedy is, 50% going up on stage and doing the show. But I think the other 50% is sitting with the comics afterwards, or meeting outside and talking after the show. And I'm realizing that's the part I've been missing most.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I
can be the kind of guy who just goes to the open mic and goes home or whatever. But it takes a little bit of intention to say, let's meet up sometime where we just do that other 50.
Yeah.
Say, let's just talk, get to know each other like this.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I'd be interested in doing something like that, just to, see what it's like, I guess. I feel like a lot of times I am just on the go,
right,
one thing to the next. And I think it'd be kind of cool to check other stuff out,
You gotta. Yeah, it's important. And I think that, being a leader in this scene, you want to make sure to do that. I feel you though, man. I can be so on the go and not reflect on my life and what happened. And I'm 29 now. A couple of years ago, when I got back into comedy, after finishing my movie, finishing the improv, or getting that to be a well-oiled machine, I was like, all right, I'm 27. I'm going to try to go and do stand-up 27 times this year. And I ended up hitting 30 of just stand-up appearances. And these last 2 years since that, I lost count because I fell in complete love with it. And
Yeah.
I know you're tallying your journey as well. And it's just keep doing what you're doing, man, because the world needs us to continue to rise up.
Yeah, I think I like keeping numbers on everything just because it's like my adult life has all just been based off of metrics. So I'm like, all right, I need to know if I'm doing better or worse, and baseline numbers is like something I can use to go off of. But there's that other X factor of just like, I might be doing more shows, but am I actually improving? Because that's another thing. Is my performance getting better? And I really do feel like, personally, I feel like I've hit a little bit of a wall, just because, I see somebody like Gabrielle Johnson, and they took an acting class in Kingston, and their performance has just gotten like so much better, and they weren't a bad performer before, but now it's just this stage presence is so different.
That's awesome. I love Gabrielle. I want to see more and more of that, and rooting for her. And acting classes, I really encourage comics, if you're listening to this, come by what I offer on Thursdays in New Paltz and second Mondays in Rosendale, because I offer these improv classes that you learn techniques to be in the moment and to be open for shifts and new ideas. And I think acting is really important for stand-up.
I think so too. I'm witnessing it in real time. Awesome. How important it is. Actually, like even somebody I'm a big fan of right now. I just saw their special maybe a couple months ago. But Gianmarco Cerezi, have you seen this comedian before?
Not, no.
Okay, so Gianmarco Cerezi, huge now, like a couple million followers on Instagram, but like been a comedian for a long time. Finally took off, and Gianmarco total theater kid, and it plays in the performance he does on his YouTube special Thief of Joy, which I think just hit like 5 million views, is like very much like a one-man show, but with jokes per minute. And it's so amazing. Like, wow. It's really inspiring, actually. So for me to watch that, come from a storytelling background, getting into, stand up, and then trying to figure out how to bring storytelling more into my stand up comedy, and then seeing somebody just do a whole life story and in an hour, and then make more jokes per minute than I can even imagine.
It's wall-to-wall jokes.
Yeah, but it's
but sincere.
It's sincere, but it's also it's physical, and there's just so much attitude and whatever. And if he was standing still behind a mic and a mic stand, doesn't hit, you know. But the movement, just like the
subtlety.
Yeah, all of that plays, and the crowd eats it alive. They just love it,
Does he use a wireless mic?
No, he's holding a mic and just moving around. He's very, he uses it. It's very. I 10 out of 10 recommend.
Oh, I'm so excited to see that. Yeah, some of the contemporary people these days are really changing comedy, and it needs it. It needs an uplift. So many new energies, like Chris Fleming. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah, Chris Fleming. Yeah. I just became aware of this person.
That to me is also very Jolly Joe, but I love it's just their unique perspective. It's total physicality and a new energy. And I've always been a big fan of Reggie Watts.
Okay, I don't think I've seen Reggie Watts.
Reggie Watts is a Looper guy. He does kind of the big hair and used to be on Comedy Bang Bang as the musical side host. But yeah, very fantastic. Just total inspiration. And so Jolly Joe works with the Looper a lot when I host my Ray Out variety shows, and just making up beats and using my musical abilities, because that's a whole nother side of my life, and trying to bring the audience along for a ride. And like this comic you mentioned, I'm trying to work on my Fringe Festival kind of form for Jolly Joe.
Okay.
So a one-man show-esque kind of thing. Different than, say, Mad Jad, who might have a stand-up hour one day. Mm-hmm. Jolly Joe's going to take you on a theatrical ride.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would recommend checking them out, just because it might get the gears turning a little bit.
Absolutely. I love the suggestions, and I love the shout-outs of so many of the local people. You know, I love Anwar George. You should have on here someday. That'd be really cool. And the local scene is just happening. I think there's so many great people. Ed Smythe is another funny guy.
I love Ed Smythe so much.
He's so good.
Okay. Yeah. I wrote that. I love that so much. I pull Ed Smythe aside after an open mic whenever I see him, and he'll have like that new little thing. I'm like, I wrote that, and then it's just, I'm like, dude, that sent me over the top. Like, that is so great. It's just,
he is wonderful. Yeah, he's very special, and him and I are trying to do some more stuff up in Troy area. We filmed a public access kind of special that's coming out, and I did it in full clown makeup.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was a new thing. I shaved my face. The beard's a little less luscious for that. And yeah, I'm trying all sorts of different things. The clown scene is another thing that I've been involved with, and I've done shows in New York City with Matthew Silver and the Idiot's Hour.
Cool.
That's been fun, and I just, try it all. Commedia dell'arte is another one. That's mask work.
Okay.
Every October in Kingston, I do the Italian festival with some friends, and we put on these masks. Actually went to Italy to grab some, but it goes back to my roots. I got a little Italian in me, and it's the earliest form of acting, and it's totally become, when you put something on, you totally just become the mask. You know, it's amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I've done some classes in that.
What's like a goal of yours? Like, what do you have, like, maybe you deem them like crazy aspirations, or like what's something that like you would love to see yourself doing in like 10 years or something like that? I
love that. I think Jolly Joe, can host anything. I have such a deep energy that I'm a big fan of the Woodstock Music Festival, and I can just see me in 10 years or less hosting and being the MC for some giant music festival and getting the crowd crazy hype before a band or something like that, Coachella. I could totally see Jolly Joe becoming a cosmic figure that honestly helps change the world. That's my goal, is Jolly Joe's going to save the world one way or another. So that's my big goal. The selfish, is let's go ahead and get, a comedy career and pay things. But the real dream is, how can I raise the climate, the consciousness? Because I do believe there's an inner cosmic jester in all of us. That is, I know you hear this mostly when people talk about doing crazy drugs, and you get to meet the jester who says, hey, come, are you ready? Are you ready to know the truth? But I want to show people that we're all just playing a game, and we're playing a theater role, and some people are playing the parts of the villains, and some people are heroes. But at the end of the game, we all go home, and we all take off the masks and shake hands and say, that was a good show. Good job. Fun show. And let's do it again. That's what life is. And if I can help people escape the matrix and change the world, that'd be a small goal.
Small goal.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. No. It's simple. Very simple.
Yeah. And Mad Jad, I hope in the next couple of years can really develop as a comedic guy that is, welcomed and embraced by the world, and can be a new comedian on the scene in his own right. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question that's kind of random, but maybe not for this conversation, just based off of what you just said? Like, I'm very curious, like, what your view on the afterlife is.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah, I believe that all time is really a flat circle. So I think we're really all experiencing time right now in a sequential order because we're alive. But I think that it's all happening at the same time. The Civil War is happening right now. Christ is being crucified right now. We're all of it's happening. Woodstock, part of me is still tripping in the fields of Woodstock right now. But I think when you die, you have a choice. Do I want to keep playing? And do I want to go back for another round of life? Did I learn everything I needed to learn? And I think a lot of us came to this life because we wanted to play. We wanted the love. We wanted to feel longing and grief and physical sensations. So we came. We played. We didn't have to, though. There's another world, I think, that we don't even know about, that when you reach a certain level of life and you say, all right, I've actually reached nirvana. I've learned my lessons. I love everyone. You can decide, do you want to go back? Or do you want to live in a state of complete bliss or ecstasy? I don't think there's anybody burning in hell like my Catholic upbringing might.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's nice to think, but I think you learn, like you said about karma. You know, you learn from your mistakes, whether it's not in this lifetime or the next. So I believe in reincarnation to an extent, and also the belief that there's so much beyond the cosmos of our little small dot that is Earth, that we might be hanging out in another dimension where everything's different right now, you know?
Yeah. I like that thought. I like that's comforting, actually. Yeah, no, I definitely like the theory of maybe like a multiverse situation.
Yeah.
I like that. I've had the belief sometimes that like the story ends for you and then it just restarts at the beginning, and then it's just a constant
loop.
Like there was nothing before or nothing after, but you have all this built-in, reality around it.
Yeah.
I like that theory.
That one can freak people out because it's like, oh, you might have to watch this life on reruns for eternity. So the next time around, though, what if you don't have free will? Like, what if you're making the decisions this time, but then you have to rewatch the movie over and over again? So are you going to be watching yourself saying, get up off the couch?
Yeah.
Go do something. It's just boring.
Yeah, like knowing that the end is soon. Like, let's just say, like, I die tomorrow. If I'm rewatching this, moment right now, it's just like, what are you doing? Go hug your mom.
Why are you interviewing a jester on a Saturday afternoon?
It's beautiful outside.
You could be doing anything.
Just enjoy the sun. Yeah. Anything to avoid actually relaxing.
Yeah. And that's the voice that I think we can tap into. Even now, you can say, "Ooh, is there a voice in my head that's saying, ooh, do this, go be a comedian, or go try this, or go put yourself out there." And that voice, maybe that's me from the future.
Perhaps.
Trying to guide me, leaving breadcrumbs, So a lot of my ideas are rooted in this really cool person, author from the 60s that actually came from Elmira, New York, called Jane Roberts. And she channeled an entity called Seth.
Okay.
And it actually helped be one of the instrumental things of the whole New Age movement. Like, Seth coined the phrase, you create your own reality, which I said earlier. You make your life. You make this world. The whole world revolves kind of around you. You're God. And it's... help and think of good things, and it's a really interesting person and story. But I couldn't believe I learned late in life that was right from Elmira, New York. And that's another topic if you're more interested in. On Joe's Java Jive, I interviewed the person who manages the Seth House that is now like a library, and where all of that channeling happened. So I'm into some hippy-dippy woo-woo stuff,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I can't be an altar boy in just Catholicism forever. As I've grown, this kind of Seth material, when I first heard it, was life-changing, and I listened to all the books and really took it in, because whether you believe that it's an entity or not, or that it was channeled or whatever, once you listen to the information, it's like the most weird self-help. Interesting that you asked about afterlife, because it's answers to questions like that from this channeled entity who claims to just be a disembodied spirit kind of hovering around, and picked this couple who were playing around with a Ouija board to come in and say, I'm going to start talking to you.
Yeah.
And they wrote books like on this. It's really weird. stuff. Have you ever heard of channeling entities like Bashar?
No.
He's a modern guy who's kind of similar in that.
Huh.
It's crazy, but at the same time, I think Jolly Joe and Mad Jad have improved by this idea because I think I kind of tend to channel them in. Mm-hmm. You know, it's different than the guy you're talking to now.
I totally get that. You know, I'm dealing with some personal stuff, right? And you know, like I often feel as though similar but different, I'll say. But I'll often feel as though is that things will happen and I have no recollection of those decisions, you know? And it's like it's pretty interesting. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and they were like, you know, I was proud of you how you handled yourself in this one situation. And I'm like, what situation? And then they expressed like, you know, an entire 3-minute part of my life. And I'm like, I don't remember that at all. You know, but they're like, you handled it really well. And I'm like, I don't remember, you know, like apparently another version of me took over for a minute.
I think
and,
so.
Did a lot better than what I normally do.
Yeah, you might have been channeling. Oftentimes when a friend asks you for advice or someone tells you what their struggle is, I'll find that my normal self, or if I'm not distracted, I'll turn into more of a wise elder. Some great advice will come out that probably I'm not even listening to. But it's like, whoa, who's that?
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't that suck when you have like some solid advice that you don't even follow?
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
We got to listen to our own wisdom because, and oftentimes having conversations and talking to people is how we hear what we're actually feeling.
Yeah.
Thinking what we need.
Yeah, because like I'll even find like in therapy sometimes, like if there's a problem I'm dealing with, as I'm talking about it to the person, I'm answering my own question,
right?
You know, or like solving my own issue, and I'm like, I feel like an idiot for even asking because all I just had to do is just say it out loud.
That's it.
You know,
that's why we're here.
Yeah.
I think maybe on that note, what if we both gave each other a piece of advice and we'll kind of treat it that way, that maybe it's applying to both of us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like what you say to me applies to you as well? Or
that's kind of, because we're saying that that's how it works. So I'll give you a piece of advice for you. I'll think about you, but I'm sure it'll probably apply to everyone who's listening and you and me. So for you, I'll say, first off, I'm a huge fan of your work. I love your comedy. I love your personality, and I love how I've seen you give the audience a choice, saying which direction do you want me to go? You know, I can go this way or I can go this way. And I would just say continue with that and having a million different ways where it can go, and trust yourself on this new material that you say you're scared to talk about. Dig yourself a bigger hole, because I'm 100% positive you're likable enough to crawl your way out of it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I respect the shit out of you. When I look at you, I see somebody who cares greatly. And I think you see yourself, and maybe you don't even speak it to others yet, but I think you see a version of yourself that you aspire to be, and you might not have said that out loud yet, and I think a lot of people feel that way, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And my advice to you is to be relentless and pursue who you see you as without waiting. And like whether that compromises a relationship or anything like that, I believe that true self for you is who you deserve to be. And you know, and I would say just be relentless, because I do like I really respect what you do, you know, and it's different. It's really different. And I think I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. But I really appreciate that you are just not scared to be who or what you want to be, you know.
Oh, man,
I think
thank you
that's
so
cool,
much.
man.
I really appreciate that, and it means the world. And I definitely relate to what you're saying. It's very true that I have a perceived image of who I am and who I'm going to become. And, you know, I will be relentless. I will take you on your advice, because I know that the louder and stronger the more percentage of me that I allow in, 100%, will be when it all finally happens.
Yeah.
Keep on being your truest self. And yeah, it made me think of the recent John Candy documentary, another
Okay.
one of my heroes. But he used to always say to his fellow comics, I'm Mr. Toronto.
Okay.
I'm Mr. He was from Canada, and he became that. He was buying everybody's meals before when they were all getting paid the same amount. He was known for saying, "Oh, I'm covering the bill. I'm the big shot movie star here." And then one day he actually became that, and he owned a football team, and he became America's sweetheart. So I just say that to you and to me and to anyone listening, just be the frequency of your highest self. Try to just live your life right now, coming in here with my John Lennon glasses and cowboy hat saying, all right, I'm Jolly Joe Jester, the movie star, but I'm also in reality humble, caring, wanting to boost you up, wanting to boost everybody up, want us to bring us all together. And that's that Vicky Sue humble element too. So I'm bringing it all with me, and you have to be a little crazy and delusional if you're going to make it in this business.
Yeah.
Gotta.
Yeah. Cool. Let's wrap it up there, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to work with you, David, and keep sticking to it, my friend.
You too, dude. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Peace and love.
Yeah, peace and love. Likable is filmed and recorded with Radio Free Rhinecliff. Thank you to Jen Hammoud and Matthew Rosenberg, our producers. And thank you to the Epicurean, which hosts us for each and every episode. Please come in, stop and shop, buy some stuff. The coffee is fantastic, as Jolly Joe is showing you there. And maybe you'll catch us on the air. I got to remember to turn the sign off this time. Thank you for listening. And thank you for coming by.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Hell yeah.
You thought you were gonna. That's not even a song. I'm just making that up. You thought you weren't gonna get an interruptible with show dates. Well, in a future episode with Carl, you'll hear that his idea was to put it at the end, or just to put it at the beginning. But I'm gonna put it at the end because it's jarring when you hear this. So there's that. All right, so show dates. 5/22. Denizen Theater in New Paltz. Please buy tickets to that. Come on out. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be with Michael Agumbiade and Danny Hanlon. He's very funny. On 5/23, I'm going to be at the Shaker Smoothie Bar with Salty and the Saltines. That's going to be a very fun show. On 5/29, I'm going to be at the Ithaca Comedy Festival. I'm on the 9 o'clock show. Gabe Baldizzi is on the 7 o'clock show. If you're in the Ithaca area, come on out. Support comedy at a festival. Festivus for the rest of us. On 5, and then I got to drive home that night or the next day. I might sleep in the car. On 5:30, I'm going to be at Don't Tell Comedy. We're going to be at a Beacon location. That's very exciting. Pretty big venue. It's a pretty cool venue. Not what you're thinking. All right. And then on 5:31, got to wake up early. Got to go down to Brooklyn. And then we're going to be doing another comedy social in New York City. Very excited. Follow them on Instagram. Check them out. If you're a comedian that listens to this and you want to do a comedy social, DM them. Maybe they'll put you on. You got to have tape. Make sure you have good tape. And that goes for the Don't Tells as well. There's a submission thing online. And if you just submit, with good tape matters. Okay, moving on. On 6/6, we got another Krog show. And, shocker, this might be a bit of it. For those of the Likable listeners, heard it here first, this might be the last one. Really not sure if there's going to be another Krog show. DM me for details. Prove to me that you've been listening to this motherfucking shit. Or you're just skipping, and then you'll never know. But that's okay. Too bad. On 6/12, we got the Roast of Rhinebeck. Need tickets to be sold for that. That's coming up soon. I'm going to be your MC for the evening. I'm going to say some unhinged shit about my hometown. On 6/13, your boys head back in the Don't Tell. This is going to be in Hopewell, New York. Can't say where. It's also not where you're thinking. It's a new venue. Very excited for this one. Pro tip, bring sandals. And on 6/18, I'm going to be helping produce a show at Downtime in New York City. with Mr. Joseph Gerbos, and he's a great guy, great little guy. This guy, I love Joe Gerbos, and we're gonna put together a show. We're still building the lineup for that, but if you're gonna ask me to be on the show, it's probably too late. My goal is to get that done today. Sorry about it. Anyways, keep in touch. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, you got jokes, yeah, you're insightful, but are you likable?